Yeah, very good morning to one and all. In this class, I'm going to deliver about the concept design of lexical analyzer. Design of lexical analyzer. Once see all of you, the slide that I shared to you all. See here we're having two types of representations. One is an lex compiler representation and the second one is an schematic lexical analyzer. See here in the representation of a lex compiler and what the input that we are giving to the compilers, the input in the form of an lex specification, and what the output that we are getting, the output in the form of an transition table, right? Means giving an input in the form of like specification. That means here we are using the specification in the form of an regular expression. The specification is in the form of an regular expression, and after performing the compilation by using the compilers, lex compilers, then finally we are getting the output in the form of an transition table, and this is nothing but the representation of an lex compiler. And see here in the second representation, in the second diagram, here we're having a schematic lexical analyzer representation. What it means is giving a transition table to finite automata simulator. Here we're performing the simulations and finally we're generating the output in the form of an lexemes. Output in the form of an lexemes. That means that is nothing but an source code. Lexemes are nothing but an source code. What it means is sequence of characters, and each and individual character can be called as an lexeme here. So this lexeme is stored in an input buffer. That's why we're representing the input buffer here. That lexeme is stored in an input buffer. See, and it is a three-step process: taking a transition table and performing the simulation of the finite automata and then generating the lexemes, and that lexeme is stored in an input buffer. And see here what type of an simulations that we are performing here. What type of an simulations that we are performing here. We all know and we are familiar with the types of conversions in an formal language and automata theory. And there we know how to convert NFA to DFA. There itself we learned the conversion process of converting from NFA to DFA or NFA epsilon to DFA, and how to minimize the finite automata. All and all those conversion processes that we learned in an formal language and automata theory. And here by taking an input, we are implementing the simulation process here. Implementing a simulation process in the sense we're converting from one type of an automata to another type of an automata. It may be an NFA to DFA. And finally generating the lexemes. And these two are the representations of the lexical analyzer, and one with an lex compiler and the another with an schematic lexical analyzer. And are you all clear about these representations? And go for the next slide. See here, representing the transition diagrams and what the inputs that we are taking here. The input is all relational operators. Input in the sense the alphabet. The alphabet is all relational operators. See, all of you see the slide once, then you can clearly understand the representation in a transition diagram. And here we're having the states 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These are the states, and 0 is an initial state of this diagram, and 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8 are the final states. Why? Because those are all represented in a double circle. The double circle representation means it indicates that it is a final state representation. And see the path path sequence from 0 to 2, 0 to 3, 0 to 4, and what the value that we are executing there. What it means is what the return value that we are getting by executing the path sequence from 0 to 2, from 0 to 3, or 0 to 4, or 0 to 5, and 0 to 7, 0 to 8. Right? See, see the path sequence from 0 to 2, 0. From 0 to 1, it is the input, it is less than, and from 1 to 2, it is an equal to, less than or equal to. It is an relational operator. And what the statement that we are executing there means less than or equal to relational operator. And see here, less than and greater than. And what it means is not equal to. And less than, other means no input there, no input there. What it means, it is only generating an output, only less than relational operator. The return value in the form of an alphabet, what we are going to execute by seeing the path sequence, see from 0 to 5, it is only a we're having a transition path from 0 to 5, that is with 0, with the input equal to, yeah, I already, with 0, with the input equal to, it is going to the slide, sorry, it is going to the state 5. 5 is an 5 is an final state here. 5 is an final state here. Once all of you see the slide, you can clearly understand. Yeah. See here, see the transition diagram, this transition diagram that we represented for the alphabets, and here the alphabets are all relational operators. Here the alphabets are all relational operators. See, starting with 0 and ending with the final states like 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, and 8. They're here where executing different and different operators. And from 0 to 2, there the operator that we are executing is a less than or equal to. And from 0 to 3, it is a not equal to. And from 0 to 4, it is an just less than operator. And with equal to, it is a just equal to operator, right? And see here, greater than or equal to, here what the value, what the alphabet that we are getting here is greater than or equal to. And with 0 to 8, it is just and greater than. And this is the way of representing the transition diagrams by taking the inputs in the form of all relational operators, right? And now see for the other alphabet like an identifiers. See here, we're taking the identifiers and we're representing a transition table, transition diagram for this identifiers. See, the identifier may be a letter or maybe a digit. So we're taking the both letter or digit here. And what the statement that we are executing means, the identifier in the form of an lexeme. Lexemes are nothing but an characters. It means it may be a letter or it may be a digit. And this is the way of representing a transition diagram for taking an input in the form of an identifiers. For the identifiers, this is the way of representation. See, here we're having the delimiters, delims. Delims are nothing but an delimiters. What the meaning of the delimiter is, for example, comma is a delimiter, full stop is a delimiter, or any other extra character that we are using for separating between the words or for ending the sentences, starting the sentences. All these are all comes under the delimiters. And see here we're having a representation for the delimiters also. The starting symbol, the starting state of this is in 28, and from 28 to 29 where the transition is done with an delim, and here we're using an self loop like an delim, and the final state here is an 30. See why we are using an self loop. The self representation means it is an clean closure. Clean closure. Clean closure means the occurrence of 0 or more. For example, we need to execute 0 or more times. The occurrence of that particular alphabet that we are using 0 or more times, then we are using the self loop. Otherwise, directly we will make a path, directed path between the two states. That the direct path between the two states means it is an positive closure. And if you use a self loop means it is a clean closure. Make a note of this. So this is the way of representing the IDs for an the transition diagrams for the IDs and for the delimiters. And if you have any unsigned IDs like this, unsigned IDs like this, and this is the way of representing in transition diagrams. You all know how to represent the transition diagrams. You all know what the do's that we need to follow, and how to represent the states, and how to make a path between the states with a directed arrow. With a directed arrow, compulsory we need to make a path representation. And why we need to make the self loops and all these we already known. Why? Because it was we already learned in a formal language and automata theory. There itself we know how to represent the transition diagrams and the tables and the finite state machines, and also we know the conversion processes between one finite automata to the another finite automata. All these are all learned in a last semester in the course like in formal language and automata theory. And here what we are doing here is there itself we are taking an input in the form of an either it may be an A or B, or it may be in 0 or 1. But here we are taking the input alphabets like an identifiers, like in delimiters, like in unsigned identifiers. Like those we are taking the inputs. Why? Because here we are implementing a lexical analyzer phase. We are implementing a lexical analyzer phase. What for is to generate the stream of tokens. To implement an lexical analyzer, here the specification should be in the form of a regular expression. And by taking the regular expression as an input, and then we're converting that expression into a transition table and representing a transition diagram and representing a transition table for that, and taking that as an input, and then doing the conversion process between two types of finite automatas, then finally we are generating an lexeme, isn't it? Are you clear about this? Why we are again representing the transition diagrams in lexical analyzer? Because the specification is in the form of a regular expression, and taking the input in the form of a regular expression, and what we are doing, we are representing the transition diagrams for that regular expression, and from the diagram we are representing the tabular representation. From that tabular representation we are performing that means we are performing the simulation between the types of finite automatas, and then we are generating the lexeme. After generating the lexeme, then what the next process is to scanning. What the next process is, we need to scan the input, right? And what the before task that we are performing is all these are the things. These are the things in the sense, these the creation process of the lexical analyzers. Creation process of the lexical analyzers to generate the output in the form of the lexemes. That's what we are learning here, right? And this is the representation for the unsigned identifiers. And now see here we're considering the grammar like this. For this grammar we're generating a transition diagram. That transition diagram is in the form of an NDFA, non-deterministic finite automata transition diagram, that we're constructing here. And again, what we by applying the lex algorithms, what we're doing here is we're again constructing equivalent DFA, constructing the equivalent DFA of NFA, right? We all know how to construct an equivalent DFA for the NFA, and that is the process that we are doing in further. See, consider the grammar here. Here we're having a grammar representation. Consider the following grammar. See, the grammar consisting of three variables: statement, expression, term. And the productions are statement tends to if expression then statement, or it may be an if expression then statement else statement, or epsilon, or expression tends to term and some relational operator between the term and the term, or directly it may be an term, or the term comes under, it may be an identifier or directly it may be a number, right? This is the grammar. This is the grammar. For this grammar, how we are constructing the NFA means, see, such a way we are constructing an NFA for the given grammar, right? See, this is pattern 1 for delimiters, this is pattern 2 for the identifiers, this is pattern 3 for the unsigned identifiers, this is pattern 4 for the relational operators. And how we are connecting these patterns with an initial state? Just by connecting with an epsilon. Here we're having a starting state, for example, it may be in 0. Here the starting state is in 0 and the final states are these 11, 13, 19, and all these are the final states. And what it means is, here how we are connecting these different patterns into one place, just by connecting with an epsilon. That means starting state with the starting state of the delimiter, starting state with the starting state of the identifiers, starting state with the starting state of the unsigned identifiers, starting state with the starting state of the all relational operators, just by sending an input alphabet epsilon, connecting with an epsilon from the final state, from the initial state to all the initial states of all these patterns, right? This 28 is an initial state to this delimiter, 9 is an initial state to this letter, that means identifiers, and 12 is an initial state to these unsigned identifiers, and 0 is the initial state to all these relational operators, right? Are you all clear how to get all the patterns into one place just by connecting with an epsilon? Now this NFA becomes an NFA with epsilon. This is an NFA. Previously it is an NFA. Now it can be called as an NFA with epsilon. That means non-deterministic finite automata with epsilon, right? How we are specifying the lex with an lexical analyzer. How we are specifying the lex with an lexical analyzer? First, initially, you need to define all the patterns for the regular expressions. That means the regular expressions for the valid tokens in the programming language. And this NP1 is in pattern 1, NP2 is in pattern 2, and so on up to PN. We need to construct all these non-deterministic patterns. And after listing out all these patterns, what we need to do is we need to construct the NFA for this. How to construct an NFA? This format is an NFA. After constructing an NFA, the machine looks like this. Now, what the next step is? By applying the lex conversion algorithms. Now, to construct the DFA that is equivalent to the NFA, right? This is an NFA. Now for this NFA, what we need to do is we need to convert an DFA. We all know the process of conversion from NFA to DFA, right? This is about the lex specification from the lexical analyzer. And by using all the alphabets of like identifiers, like all relational operators, like any other unsigned or delimiters, or directly taking the letters or digits, by taking the inputs like this, and we know how to construct the transition tables now. We know how to construct the transition diagrams. And we also know how to design the lexical analyzer for this. And this is in this way. This is a transition diagram for the lexical analyzer. In such a way, we need to design the lexical analyzers, the transition diagrams for the lexical analyzers, right? Up to this, you all are clear? Now, the most important concept, that is about creating or generating an lexical analyzers with the tool like an lex. Creating an lexical analyzer with the tool lex. See, all of you see the slide that I shared to you all. It is a three-step process. After giving the input in the form of an lex source program, then finally generating a sequence of tokens, how the process is to be done. how we're generating this sequence of tokens by using the tool like an Lex. See here, for efficient design of compilers, various tools have been built for constructing the lexical analyzers using special purpose notations like and regular expressions. And we all know what the regular expressions are, and we all know what the purpose that we are using these regular expressions. And these regular expressions are used in recognizing the tokens, right? To recognize the tokens. And now a special language that specifies the tokens using the regular expression. That language is nothing but an Lex. That language is nothing but an Lex. And here a tool is called as an Lex that gives the specification. And basically this Lex is an Unix utility which generates the lexical analyzers. You all know the point. At the concept of construction tools, while generating the scanner, there itself I defined this sentence. What it means is here we are using the specification in the form of a regular expression, and we are using an Unix utility to generate the lexical analyzers. Lex from the Unix utility, right? Lex is a Unix utility which generates the lexical analyzers. This can also be called as an Lexar, L-E-X-E-R, Lexar. LEXR, Lexar, LX, Lexar, which is very much faster in finding the tokens as compared to the handwritten Lex programs in C. So this Lex scans the source program in order to get the stream of tokens, and these tokens are related together so that various programming constructs, like such as we all know how to define the expressions, the constructs like an expression, like an block statements, like in procedures, like in control statements, all these are all the programming constructs, and those are all can be realized by using this Lex, right? By using the Lex tool, what we are doing here, we're performing the scanning. We're performing the scanning, scans the source program, right? And see, now this is an introduction about the Lex, and now we're going in detail about how to create or how to generate a lexical analyzer with the Lex. See, initially the Lex program is with an lex.l. What it means is the Lex specification file can be created by using the extension .l extension. This is a .l extension. We can use A.l or B.l, whatever the alphabet you can use. You can use any type of an alphabet with an .l extension. What it means is it is an Lex source program. It is an Lex source program. The Lex specification file can be created using the .l extension. For example, see here, the specification file can .l, and this lex.l file is given to the Lex compiler. See here, we're having the Lex compiler to produce the lex.yy.c. To produce the lex.yy.c. What is this lex.yy.c? Is a C program here. Is a C program, which is actually a lexical analyzer program. Which is actually a lexical analyzer program. See here, we're having a function like yylex function. Actually, it is an lexical analyzer program. What it means here is the Lex specification file. Make a note of all this. The Lex specification file stores the regular expression for the tokens. Make a note. What is going on here? It is an C program, which is a Lex analyzer program. And here the Lex specification file stores the regular expressions for the tokens. And this file consisting of this lex.yy.c file consisting of a tabular representation of the transition diagram, right? Whatever we already learned in the last slides in this class, the representation of the transition diagrams, and from the diagram the table representation, and everything is consisting in this file, lex.yy.c file, right? And the table representation of the transition diagrams constructed for the regular expressions is stored in this. What this file consisting of? Consisting of the tabular representations of the transition diagram constructed for the regular expressions. Constructed for the regular expressions. Make a note. And And the lexemes can be recognized with the help of this tabular representation of the transition diagram. See, starting of the class, I show you one representation, the schematic of reticle analyzer. What it means is, from the transition table, after performing the simulations, what we are generating here? Lexemes. What we are generating here? Lexemes. And we are the lexemes in the form of an the lexemes where we are getting these lexemes from the tabular representation of the transition diagram. That's the thing that we are learning here. Here means at the place of lex.yy.c. What this file consisting of means the tabular representation of the transition diagrams, constructed for the regular expressions. And this file consisting of the data of the transition tables and the transition diagrams for the regular expressions, right? And the lexemes can be recognized with the help of this, tabular representation of the transition diagram. Now, in the specification file, the lex actions are associated with every regular expression, and these actions are simply the pieces of C code. See here. See in the step number 2. Simply, these are the pieces of C code. This C code is directly carried out to the lex.yy.c, and the C compiler compiles this and produces an object program like a.out. When some input stream is given to this a.out in step number 3, when some input stream is given to the a.out, and then the sequence of tokens get generated. Right? This is an generating a lexical analyzer by using an tool like an lex, or generating a lexical analyzer with the lex tool. Here we're having a three-step process. In the three-step process, we are generating the sequence of tokens. Right? I think you all are clear about knowing how the step-by-step processes gets executed. And lex.while, by using the lex compilers, performing the compilation, getting an output in the form of an lex.yy.c, and taking an lex.yy.c, and by using the C compilers, what we are producing here, an object program, that is an a.out, and giving an input streams to this a.out, what we are generating an sequence of tokens. Right? Are you all clear about this? Right. And here we're having a question like this. What the question is, the term lex specification, we're always calling the term like a lex specification. And how do we write the specification file? That is the question here. How do we write the specification file? For that question, we're having an answer in the form of lex program. For that question, we're having an answer in the form of an lex program. See here. What the question is, how do we write the specification file? The specification file can be written in an three parts. What it means is, the lex program consisting of three parts. What are those? The first, declaration section or declaration part. This is the first part. See where the cursor I am representing here. Declaration part. And the second part is an rule section or translation rules part. Rule part, or we can also call it as an rule section. And what the third part is an procedure section. And the program is divided into 3 sections. One is declaration, another one is an rules, and the third one is an procedures. And with these 3, we are writing the program in an lex. That program can be called as an lex program. See what the declaration section means. Declaration of any type of variables or constants, whatever it may be, whatever the variables that we need to use in the program, all are should be used in a declaration section. That means that we are calling it as a regular definition of the variables or the constants. And coming to here it is a lex program, lexical analyzers, implementing and lexical analyzers. Here some regular definitions can also be written in this section. What it means is basically these the definitions from the components of regular expressions appearing in the rule section. Right. This is about an declaration. And basically what we know about the declaration section means whatever the variables we are using in the program and whatever the data types that we are using the program, and initially we need to define all those. Initially before the main program we need to define all those. This the thing that we already know, and here we are calling that part as a declaration section. So these are all the variables that we are using in the program: delims, white space, letter, digit, id, number. All these are all the variables or the constants, or some of them are the regular definitions, and from the regular expressions we are defining here. And these are all the regular definitions we are declaring in a declaration section, right? And this part is clear. And what about the rule section? What about the rule section? This rule section consisting of the expression, the regular expression with associated actions. What it means is, here we are performing some translation rules. We are performing some translation rules. See here, white space, no action, no return. Why? Because the lexical analyzers ignores the white spaces, ignores the comments. So if the rule is like an WS is nothing but an white space. What the action associated with this rule is no action or no return. If is an rule, and what type of an action that is associated with the rule, like an if, it returns if, then returns then, else returns else. Identifier is a token here. So we need to use like this. We need to give the action, what type of an action that the identifier is performing is, this is an action. The return value is an id. Number, again install number and return number. In this way we need to perform the translation rules. That means rules associated with the action: less than or equal to, and these are all the lex values, L val is an lex val, right? What it means is, each regular expression is associated with an action, right? Describing the action or the rule and what the action it is going to be performed. That's where specifying in a rule, translation rule part. And now what the third one is, procedures. See here we're having to perform the function like an install id, install num, and see here we're having a comment section. What after writing this function, and what the comment is here: procedure to install the lexeme whose first character is pointed to by YY text and whose length is YY length into symbol table and written in pointer there too. And this is nothing but a comment section. What it means is, in this section all the required procedures are defined. Sometimes these procedures are required by the actions in the rule section. And if you want to define any comments for the defined procedure, there itself we need to make a comment by giving like this, right? And this is nothing but an procedure section. And with the procedure section, the program gets ended. That means the program is terminated. The lex program is terminated. Means here the program consisting of 3 parts. One is an declaration part, another one is an rule section part, and the third one is an procedure part. And if I want to implement an identity, the need to install ID. If I want to implement any number constants, it is a need to install the number functions, right? That's why we are using these, we are writing these in an procedure part. And this is the way of specifying, this is the way of writing the specification file in an LEX program. I think you all are clear about this. And in this class, I explained about the lexical analyzers. See here, design of lexical analyzers. Here, the design of lexical analyzers contains the representations of the LEX compiler and the schematic lexical analyzers. And we know how to represent the transition diagrams by seeing the input alphabets like an all relational operators and identifiers and delimiters and the unsigned identifiers. And for all these alphabets, that like for all these inputs, we represent the patterns in the form of an transition diagrams. And from the grammar, we represent a transition table, transition diagram for the lexical analyzer, and this is the transition diagram for lexical analyzer. And after knowing this, we know how to specify the lexical analyzers. That means how to construct an NFA to DFA, NFA conversion to DFA conversion, and then generating a lexical analyzer with the LEX. It is a 3-step process. A most important concept, creating or generating a lexical analyzer with the LEX. And by saying the LEX program, we know how to write the specification file. I know how to write the specification file in 3 parts. Right? Are you all clear about this? With this, our unit 1 is completed. With this topic, our unit 1 is completed. And in the next class, I'm going to deliver the second unit, that is an syntax analyzer. Most important concepts in a lexical analyzer. One is an input buffering and another one is an creating or generating a lexical analyzer with LEX. LEX is a tool, LEX tool.